Hi, I'm Sara Delaney with One Big Happy Yarn Company, and we are diving into our 2024 Crochet Block of the Month series. We're ready for our first block. I'm so excited to share that with you. I'm really looking forward to these 10 episodes. We're going to make 9 blocks together. Then we're going to put a border on those blocks that joins them all together and becomes the border on the outside of our blanket, so that by the end of October, you have a finished project that you can keep and love or gift to those that you love. So let's talk a little bit about supplies that you're going to need for this. You can pick up a kit. You can head right to the description box below. There'll be a link there where you can pick up a kit that will have everything that you need. There's 2 versions of the kit. There's our basic kit that will have the pattern and all the yarn, and then there's our luxe kit that will have the pattern and the yarn and a bunch of extra little goodies that you might need, like hooks, stitch markers, blocking board, all kinds of good stuff. But let's talk about just the basics that you'll need to make this, this blanket, this Afghan. You will need 20 skeins of our yarn. We are using Skipjes. We're using the Stone Washed XL or the River Washed XL. Some of the kits have a combination of both yarns. It's the same yardage. It's the same basic makeup. It is 70% cotton and 30% acrylic. So this yarn is 100% washable and dryable. You can put it through the machine, both machines. It'll be just fine. I love the construction on this, especially all of the colors. There's not a color in either the Stone Washed XL or the River Washed XL that I don't like. So in the Stone Washed, the cotton threads of the yarn, which are the core of the yarn, are undyed. So they're all white. They're that natural color. And then the color of this yarn comes from these little acrylic threads that are blown at the yarn as the plies are being twisted together. So you get this soft, fuzzy halo, and you get this great depth of color in all of the colors. There's just this tonality to it that is beautiful. And the River Washed colors, that cotton is dyed, and so you'll get a 2-tone effect with the River Washed colors, and you'll see that in some of the kits on the product page. Again, you can head to the description box below and click that link so that you can see all the different kits available. So there's 5 colors in each kit. 4 of the colors are exclusively for our blocks, and then 1 color is for 1 set of blocks and for our border and joining. And you'll need a crochet hook because we're crocheting. So you're going to need an H8 5mm hook, and here we're using the Addi Pro hook. That's one of my favorites. It's got their great Addi Teflon coating, so it slips nice and quick through all the stitches. It doesn't have a thumb rest, which is nice for me because I hold my crochet hook like a pencil and it rolls a bit. But we do have lots of other crochet hooks if you do prefer a crochet hook with a thumb rest. You will also need a tapestry needle. I prefer a tapestry needle with a nice big eye, so I usually go for a jumbo one. Now, the Stone Washed XL is actually a worsted weight or a slightly heavy worsted weight yarn, so you don't really need a jumbo tapestry hook, but that's just usually what I keep in my toolbox. You will need stitch markers. You will need at least 4 throughout this project, but they don't usually come in packs of only 4, so whatever pack of stitch markers you pick up. And because we're crocheting, you want to make sure that they are locking or closable stitch markers that you can place in your work and have them stay put. And you'll need scissors. You always need scissors. So that is our list of tools. Are you ready to get started on our first block? I sure am. Okay, I'm going to use this nice sort of hot pinky color. And the great thing about this yarn that I really love is it has this easy start tab. So every single skein of this yarn has this easy start tab that you can see, and it pulls from the center. So you just find one end or the other of your skein, you'll find that little sticker, and it'll pull right from the center for your whole project. So it's really great. Let me get this out of the way here. All right, and then I just pull that tab off. Just get it out of the way. The first thing we're gonna do to start this block is a slip knot. Now, when I make my slip knots, and don't worry, I'll slow down and walk you through this. When I make my slip knots, I make them so that if I want to loosen my slip knot, my tail gets shorter. If I want my slip knot to get tighter, I pull on the tail. It's just, that's been my process for years and years and years, because sometimes you need to work back into the very first chain that you've made to put a whole bunch of stitches, and so you need that slip stitch to open up a little bit. And if it's not adjustable by your tail, then when you make your second chain, that first chain is locked in place. So I always like to give myself the option of having a first chain that can open up a little bit. So let me show you how I do that. My tail is to the right. I form a loop where it crosses at the top, where the tail is in front of the loop, and then the tail drops behind the loop. See that? So the tail went around to the front, and then it came behind, and then I slide my hook underneath that tail and pull on both my tail and my working yarn, and then you can see how the loop adjusts by the tail, just like that. And you want to do that so that you have about 6 inches of tail. You always want to have enough to weave in at the end. Now, as we work the first round or so, I'm actually going to stitch over this tail, but you're still going to need to weave it in at the end just to make sure that everything is secure. All right, so you've got your slip stitch on your hook. You want to make sure that it's not so tight that it doesn't move around. It needs to be able to slide comfortably and easily along the full neck of your hook, okay? So once that's good, we're ready to dive into our first stitches. We're going to start by chaining 6 and forming a ring. So we're simply going to chain 6 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, I like to go back along the chain this way so that I know it's nice and flat and there's no twist. It won't matter if there is a twist. This chain is going to be inside a bunch of stitches, but it's just habit for me to always make sure that my chains are flat and not twisted. I'm going to go back to this very first chain that we made, go right into the heart of that stitch, then yarn over again and pull through everything on my hook. That's a slip stitch, and that has formed a ring. See? Nice little donut. Now we're ready for round 1. Round 1 is all single crochet stitches. Now, I mentioned that I'm going to work over this tail as I go. So as I'm working these stitches in round 1, I'm just going to keep this tail lined up along the edge of that ring, and it'll hide inside the stitches that we make in this round 1. I like to do this and then weave in my ends afterwards. It makes for a nice secure center, and all of the blocks that we're going to make in this series start with a ring. We're going to work over that tail and then weave it in. It'll never come undone. All right, round 1, we're going to chain 1. We're going to do a single crochet into the ring. So right into that donut hole we go. Yarn over and bring up a loop. So there's 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again and pull through both. That's 1 single crochet. You're going to do 16 single crochets into this ring. Let me do that again. Oh, if your stitch pops off your hook, just put it back on there. So again, you can see I'm just holding this tail along the top edge of the ring of the chain ring, and I'm working into the center of that ring. That's 2. That's 3. I'm just going to pull some more yarn. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, this is one of my favorite things. That's 8, and we need to put 16, and we're pretty close to the beginning of that round. So how the heck are we going to fit another 8 single crochets in there? It's easier than you think. I'm just going to take my hook out of here so you can see it a little bit easier. If I hold on to what's left of that 6 chain ring that we started with, and I grab the edge of this last single crochet that we worked, and I pull on that original chain like a drawstring, it pulls through. Because our stitches are hollow, we've just made a tube with these stitches. And so that chain ring will pull through. So we've made 8, so I've pulled it back so that those 8 stitches are only taking up about half the ring. Now I should have room to fit the other 8. Just going to tighten that back up on my hook and start again. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I feel like I don't have enough room, so I'm just going to pull it a little bit more and make room for the last 2 stitches. 15 and 16. Okay. There's that tail that we started with. It's shorter, but we're going to leave it back there. We'll weave it in at the end of the project. And so we want to slip stitch to the first stitch to join this round. And the best way to do that for me, I've always found, and this double checks your stitch count in this first round, because if you're not right at the end of this first round, you're not going to be right in any other round, is to count backwards from where we are. Again, I'm going to take my hook out just so that you can see this better. This is the last, let me do this. This is the last single crochet that we made, right? There's the top of it. So if I count back from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I only have 15 stitches. So I need to add 1 more, but I know that this was the first stitch that I made. So just for myself, I'm just going to put that stitch marker there for a moment. I'm going to pull these stitches back just a little bit so I can fit that 16th stitch in there. It's okay that that tail pulled through. We'll just pop it to the back. And now, where the stitch marker is, I know that I can do my slip stitch. So I'm going to go under the top 2 strands of that stitch. See them? Yarn over and pull through everything. And that is round 1. That's 16 stitches. It always reminds me of like a little Christmas wreath. It's so cute. Okay, we're ready for round 2. We're going to chain 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this round consists of double crochets and chain 3s. So this chain 6 counts as a double crochet and as a chain 3. And now we're going to skip a stitch. I'm going to skip that stitch. We're going to go into the next stitch and do a double crochet and then chain 3. Then we're going to skip a stitch, do a double crochet, chain 3, and you're going to do that all the way around. Skip a stitch, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 3. Go ahead and work your way around and meet me back here when you're ready to join. Now that you're at the end, you want to double count and make sure that you have 8 double crochets. Remember that chain 6 that we started with counts as a double crochet and a chain 3. And then you've done your last chain 3. We're going to join to the 3rd chain of this chain 6. Again, the best practice and the best advice that I have for you on finding those chains is to count backwards from a recognizable stitch. So we know that this double crochet here, that's the top of that double crochet. So if we skip 1, 2, 3, that's the chain 3, then that next chain back is the 3rd chain of our chain 6, and that's where we want to do our slip stitch. So right into the heart of that stitch, yarn over, and pull through to join. That is the end of round 2. It's always so fun to me to start with these little round shapes and turn them into squares. So let me show you where this is going in our finished square. This is our finished square one. So we've completed that great little Christmas wreath in the middle, and then we've made these spokes. And now we're going to make these fantastic petals, and then we'll square the whole thing out. So let's hop into round 3. So for round 3, we're going to make those petals all the way around, and it's they're actually really fun. So we finished round 2. Round 3, we go right into the first petal. There's no transitional anything. We're going to go right into that first chain 3 space, and we're going to do a single crochet. Then we're going to do a half double crochet. Then we're going to do 5 double crochets. Uh-oh, it's starting to look like I'm going to run out of room. Remember what we did in round 1? I'm just going to pull those stitches back across that little drawstring. All right, that's our 5 double crochets. Now we're going to do another half double and then a single. Isn't that great? I love that shape. So then we're going to do it again. No transitional stitches. We just go right into the next chain 3 space, single crochet, half double crochet, 5 doubles, if you start to run out of space, just pull it back across. That's 4. That's 5. At any point, if you feel like you're running out of space, just pull those stitches back and give yourself a little bit more room. There's our half double and our single. That's our second petal made. You're going to go ahead and continue doing that until you've got 8 petals made. Meet me back here to join the round. Now we're at the end of round 3. All right, I'm just going to do that last single crochet of that last petal, and then we're going to go back to the very first single crochet that we did in this round and do a slip stitch to join. That is the end of round 3. Now it feels a little curly. It's going to feel a little curly. So part of that is because the core of this yarn is cotton and it's not super flexible. And so when you start packing it in the stitches, it gets kind of nervous and its shoulders tense up a little bit. It's okay. When we finish this square and we block everything, it's going to relax and it'll be so happy. All right, let me just show you where that is in our finished block here. So you can see our petals there. We're going to start to square this round flower shape out now. We're going to start round 4. Round 4 starts with slip stitches. Why? Well, because, let me take my hook out. We're sort of down here in the valley between the petals, and we need to get up to where the tops of the petals are. So the quickest way to do that is to travel by slip stitch. So this single crochet is where we slip stitch to join. Here's the half double that we did. So we're going to go into the top of that half double. We're going to do another slip stitch, just like that. And then we're going to go to that first double, and we're going to do another slip stitch, just like that. See, and now we've moved from being down here in that valley between the petals to near the top of this petal here. And then we can start the work of squaring out this shape. We're going to chain 1. We're going to single crochet in that same stitch. So if you're nervous about that, you can take that last slip stitch out, see where it came from. Go ahead and do that slip stitch again. So it's this double crochet, do that slip stitch, chain 1, and then single crochet in that same stitch. Okay? Then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip 3 stitches, single crochet in that next stitch. Now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to skip 4 stitches. So we're going to skip a half double, skip a single, skip a single, skip a half double, single crochet in the next double. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Skip 3 stitches, single crochet in the next stitch. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 4. Single crochet. So those chain 5s are becoming our corners, and the chain 3s are becoming our sides. You're just going to continue repeating the chain 3, single crochet, chain 5, single crochet all the way around in round 4. Meet me back here when you're ready to join. So here we are at the end of round 4, and we're going to do something a little bit different. You would think that there would be a chain 5 here, but remember when we started round 4, we had to slip stitch up the side of one of those petals to get to where we needed to be. We kind of need to do the same thing here. If I were to do a chain 5 here, it would end at this single crochet, and then I'd be sort of down in the valley between a chain 5 and a chain 3. And where I want to be when I finish is up at the top of one of these chain 5 loops, and we can't really slip stitch backwards. So here's a fantastic trick to have you end in the middle of a chain loop. What we're going to do is chain 2, and then we're going to do a double crochet, yarn over, and we're going to go into that very first single crochet that we made and anchor it in the top of that single crochet. And then complete our double crochet. And when we do that, it's made the equivalent of a chain 5 loop, but now we are centered at the top of it. So that's the end of round 4. We're ready to start round 5. Only 2 rounds left to go on this square. From here, we're going to chain 3. This is going to count as a double crochet. So we're sort of making half of one of our corners here. Then we're going to do 2 double crochets into the same space that we made with that chain 2 double crochet. Then we're going to chain 3. We're going to single crochet into the next chain 3 space. We're going to chain 3, single crochet into the next chain 5 space, chain 3, single crochet into the next chain 3 space, chain 3, and then we're going to make our first full corner in the next chain 5 space, and that's 3 double crochets, 3 chains, and 3 more double crochets. There's 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 more double crochets back in that same chain 5 space. Then we're going to move across this side with chain 3s and single crochets, chain 3, single crochet in the next chain 3 space, chain 3, single crochet in the next chain 5 space, chain 3, single in the next chain 3 space, chain 3, and then you're ready to make your next corner. So work your way around following your pattern and meet me back at the end of this round to join. Here we are at the end of round 5, and we're going to complete that corner that we started at the beginning. So back into that same space that we created with the chain 2 and the double crochet. We're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 3, and then there's that chain 3 that we started with. We're going to do a slip stitch at the top to join. Look at that. Look at that. Now it's square-ish. We're ready for round 6. We're going to start with a chain 1 and a single crochet in that same space where we joined the round, right in the top of that chain 3. And for this round, we're going to do a single crochet in every stitch. Now, the second stitch that we do is a little bit tricky, because here's that first single crochet that we did, and it kind of looks like it's in this stitch, but it's actually in the top of this stitch. This stitch here just sort of hides underneath, but it is here, so we do need to do a single crochet in the top of that stitch as well, and then in the next. So what we're going to do is a single crochet in every stitch and 3 single crochets in every chain 3 space all the way around. So remember, this side was chain 3 single, chain 3 single, chain all the way across. So this chain 3 space gets 3 single crochets, 2, 3, right into the space, not into the chains, right into the space. We're essentially enclosing that chain in our stitches. Then here's a single crochet. We're going to do a single crochet in there, and you're going to work your way across here. There's the single crochet in the center. Pull a little more yarn, another chain 3, so 3 more single crochets. There's another single, so we do a single there. There's another chain 3 space, so we do 3 singles there. Here are our 3 doubles, so we want to do 1, 2, 3. And here's our chain 3 corner space. That gets 3 single crochets. And then we're back to what we just did. You're going to single crochet your way across this side, corner, next side, corner, next side. Meet me back at the last corner to join it. So here we are at the end of round 6. I just have this last chain 3 corner space. I'm going to do 3 single crochets in there. And then the first single crochet that we made, I'm going to do a slip stitch to join. Now you should have 72 single crochets in this round if you want to take your time to stop and count. That's going to be an important number when we go to put everything together. So I did my slip stitch. I'm going to cut my yarn. Again, I'm giving myself like 6 to 8 inches. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through until that tail pops out, tighten it up. And that is block 1. Look at that. You made your first block. Let me just pull the blanket in over here and show you. In our finished blanket, I actually made it in the blue color. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about your colors before you move on to anything else in this blanket. You are going to make 2 different blocks in each color, and you're going to make 4 of each. So you may want to take this time to sort of figure out which blocks you like, in which colors you might want to make them. The pattern is written with color A, color B, color C, color D, and then our joining color is color E. But these 4 colors, these first 4 colors can be in any order that you like. This is just the order that I made them in. So in the finished blanket, in the photos in your pattern, this block that we just made, block 1, you'll see is in the blue color. But you can make it in any one of these 4 colors. And you can switch up which blocks you make in which color, but if you want to make it so that it looks just like the finished blanket, you'll want to follow the color that's written in your pattern. But don't be afraid to mix it all up. And just because I made these 2 blocks in blue doesn't mean that you have to make these 2 blocks in blue. The blanket looks beautiful no matter which blocks are made in which color. When we get to the 9th block, it's made in the same color as the joining yarn, but if you really like that block and you think you'd like it in one of the other colors, you can switch it up. You could do block 1 in the joining color. You can do any one of the blocks in any of the colors. And then when we put it all together, you'll have fun mixing and shuffling those all around and figuring out where they belong in the blanket that you're making. So don't be afraid to not follow the color instruction in your pattern, I think is what I'm saying. Feel free to shuffle up those colors and make them however you want, or make them how it's listed in the pattern. It's up to you. So I already had one of block 1 finished. I made another one with you here today. When you are done with these, you can make 2 more because you want to have 4 of the same block. And it's going to take a little bit more than 1 whole skein to make those 4. So you're going to have 3 of each of these colors. And you'll use 1 entire skein and a little bit of the second one to make all 4 blocks. So don't be surprised by that. When you have finished your blocks, you can set them aside or you can block them now. I will go through blocking with you when we get to the end of episode 8. But if you want to block them ahead of time, you want to block them to 5.5 inches. So 5.5 inches corner to corner on each block. That is block 1. We're on our way. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this little block with petals. I look forward to seeing you next month in our second episode when we tackle block 2. If you haven't yet, you want to hit the description box below and follow that link to pick up a kit or your copy of the pattern so that you can follow along with us this year in our 2024 Crochet Block of the Month blanket. I look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Happy crocheting!